Greetings, algebra students. Welcome to your very first video. And in class today, you either received a Know It notebook, or else you decided that you were going to keep your vocabulary in your own notebook. Know It notebook's a handy way to keep it all organized, though, so I think a lot of you may have chosen that. All right, so a symbol used to represent a quantity that can change. That's a variable. And the one we use most often is x. A lot of times you see y, but you can use any letter of the alphabet. And so that's a variable. So you should take that definition down. And a lot of times I will also provide some graphics, and it's good for you to have that too, because the picture often tells you more meaningful information than even the words do. So a constant, a value that does not change. All right, so we're talking about a number by itself, basically. 4 is an example of a constant, because it's constantly the same. A numerical expression, an expression that contains only numbers and operations. All right, so for instance, 10 plus 8. You know what operations are? That's what we have here. Addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, are the most common ones. Algebraic expression, an expression that contains at least one variable. So I could change this one from the numerical expression in just one slight way, attach a variable to the 10, and now I've made an algebraic expression out of that numerical expression. Finally, in the vocabulary, evaluate, to find the answer of an algebraic expression by substituting a number for each variable, and simplifying by using the order of operations. So if I am told that x equals 4, and I've got this expression 2x plus 4, then I would go ahead and substitute 4 for x and do my order of operations and find out that it equals 12. So evaluate just means to find the answer. All right, so now here comes to a feature in this that is very helpful, and this is good for students. If I was just telling you this in class, and if I had to move on, then you wouldn't get all this information. Now, with the video, you have the ability to pause me or to rewind me, and that way you can get the information if you need it. So if you're not done copying this down yet, just pause the video, and you can finish it, and then start it up again when you're ready. All right. Now, normally, later on, as we go into the course, there will be one video per learning target. Because some of this Chapter 1 stuff is review, and you've done it before, you've seen it before, I'm putting them both learning targets in this one video. Learning target number 1, I will translate between words in algebra. Learning target number 2, I will evaluate algebraic expressions. In other words, I will find the answer to algebraic expressions. All right. You will need to translate between algebraic expressions and words to be successful in math. Yeah, we do this a lot. And I know it's probably not everybody's favorite thing to be doing things like word problems, but that is the way that math presents itself in the real world, so we got to know about that too. All right, so here, a plus sign. Here are some keywords that are used to indicate addition. The fancy math term for that, of course, and maybe not so fancy, but sum, but plus and increased by are also ways we can describe addition. So we're looking for those keywords in the sentences. Subtraction, minus, difference, less than. Difference is the main mathematical word for subtraction. Less than, you have to be a little bit careful with that one, because sometimes that you've learned that can be used in inequalities, that 4 is less than 6 or something like that. And then it has nothing to do with subtraction. But it can be used to describe subtraction as well. So, for instance, what is 4 less than 10? Then you do 10 minus 4 to get that answer. All right. Times, product, equal, groups of. Yeah, equal groups of. So product is the main word for multiplication, the mathematical term that we use for it. So these are all keywords we use for that. Divided by, quotient. Quotient is the fancy word we use for division. So when you see a sentence, as you're going to see here in the next slide, you're looking for these key words. And you should have this in your notes. So take the time to get that in there. So here's some practice on learning target number 1. I will translate between words and algebra. All right, so now we have to describe this in words. All right, so we've been given this algebraic expression, and we have to find a way to describe this. And they, in the book, they're going to want you to do 2 ways to describe it. So thinking back on some of our key words here, we see there's subtraction, so we're looking at minus, and difference, and less than. So we could say that this is n minus 5. We could say the difference of n and 5. We could say 5 less than n. N decreased by 5. That's another way to describe it. So here are 2 examples of correct answers. And there's more than 2, as you know, I used several of them. All right, here's the second one. You can see that division is the key word here. So we're having divided by, quotient, words like that. So the quotient of f and 3. So if we're going to use that word quotient, we take the number, what it's being divided by, in that order. In that case, it was a variable that was being divided. Here we've got addition, so we're looking at words like sum and increased by, C increased by 15, the sum of C and 15. All right, and then here we have 9 minus y. 9 decreased by y is one way we could say that. Y less than 9. All right, that's another way you could say it. You could say the difference of 9 and y. That's another one you could use. And you should be writing these down. Actually, these problems are going to also appear in your homework assignment. So if you do write these down, you'll be a little bit ahead of the game tomorrow. And how about a word problem? George drives at 45 miles per hour. Write an expression for the number of miles George travels in h hours. Now it's going to be an algebraic expression because they've already told us here we got a variable here, and that's what makes it an algebraic expression. 45 miles per hour for h hours. Well, if I were to ask you, well, so how far would you be or how would you describe how far you went if you traveled 2 hours? Most of you would know. You say, well, you go 45 times 2, or in 3 hours you'd go 45 times 3. So obviously you're taking this rate of speed, 45 miles per hour, multiplying it by the number of hours. So we want our expression to show that, 45h. All right, so that's the practice on learning target 1. So remember those keywords that we took on the previous slide are key to that. All right, now I'm not trying to insult your intelligence with learning target 2. I will evaluate expressions. They do use some fairly easy examples in these, but the main thing is that you learn what you're supposed to do when you are confronted with a problem like this. And I think you will know. Here's number 6. We've got a minus c. All right, so then we just substitute. A is 3. So we put 3 in its place, so there we have that. And then minus c. C is 2. So as you can see, we just substitute the 2 for c, and then obviously that's just very quick mental math. The answer is 1. All right, 7, a times b now. Remember in algebra, when 2 letters are listed side by side, that is code. It means multiply these 2 values together. All right, and we know a is 3, b is 4, so it's just 3 times 4, and that's 12. And we've got this one, b divided by c. Obviously, once again, we have b is 4 here, and c is 2, so it's 4 divided by 2. Very easy, 2. A times c, 3 times 2, 6. All right, now if you'd like to stop there, if you think you understand this and you're ready to go after it tomorrow, go right ahead. Now on the other hand, if you would like to get a little bit of head start here on this homework assignment, you're free to work on it at home as well. Otherwise, You can wait till you get to class tomorrow. You'll have time to work on it in class tomorrow. And I expect that you would finish this assignment in class tomorrow. All right, I hope you have a great night. And you're ready for your next day of school tomorrow. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Have an algebraic night.